Go ahead.
Okay, you guys, I'm gonna go over how to put a digital frequency in. There's only a couple of steps that are different than what you just seen on putting an analog frequency in with an analog tone. Now we're gonna be putting a digital frequency in with a digital tone. And this will be the process. We're gonna go ahead and use the same frequency that we programmed Greg into, because we've already went through that on how to name it. So I'm not going to go through that again, but I'll go through the steps. Steps are still the same. Menu, menu, enter, enter. Now we can change the receive frequency, and the receive frequency and the transmit frequency is going to look the same as an analog. Right here, if we can look on this frequency list real quick, this happens to be a frequency named Gardner Local. We're not going to rename it on here, but if we look up here on the receive, we have a 171.550. So we're going to change the receive side to 171.550. Okay? On this particular frequency, the transmit, it happens to be the same frequency as the receive. So this one's going to be pretty easy, because as soon as I push the menu button here to go to the transmit, whatever I put in the receive side now is also going to be programmed in the transmit side, so we don't have to do anything there. The next step, I push the menu again, is the name. I'm not going to change the name because we went through that on the analog process. I'm going to push it again, and here is where it's not a narrow frequency, it's a digital frequency. So we use the up and down arrows right here, we get digital. Now remember, it's wide, narrow, or digital. Now we're on digital. That's what we need to be. We're going to hit the menu again. We still want it on high power. We're not going to change that. Remember, we had low power and high power. We still want it on high power. We're going to hit it again. Now here's where this says receive digital squelch is normal. We want it on normal. You can put it on mono or normal. You want it on normal. Here's where we're going to put the digital tone, okay? And I'm just going to label it as that, because we're using tones in the analog, okay? We go back down to our frequency chart here, and on the receive side, because it says RX here, and we're on the receive, we already programmed this frequency in. That number right there, which is the $F7 echo, is what we need to put in for the receive NACA code, which I'm telling you that that's the tone, okay? We do not worry about the $sign. Forget the $sign's even there, even though it's on the frequency list. We start out, what we want to put in there is F7 echo. So we come up here, we look at our keypad just like we did when we were going to program a name in there, and the F happens to be on the 3. So we keep pushing it until we get to a capital F. Our next one is a 7. Go to that one, and we have a 7. Our next one is echo, a capital E. We go back and find that on the keypad. We keep pushing it until we get a capital E, not a small e, which we're not going to be able to get. It's not giving us a small e, so we got that. The H is always going to stay on the end. Don't worry about that. That has to do with the radio. So we forget about the $sign and we put F7 echo in there. And we also don't worry about this in parentheses 3966 number. Forget that. You notice they're all the same on here anyway. We have the receive tone or NACA in the receive side now. So now we go to menu, which is going to ask us for the transmit NACA or tone. We go over here, transmit side, forget the $ again, and we're going to put 4 Charlie Echo in there. So we come up to that keypad, the 4, put that one in there. We go over and find where the Charlie's at. It's on the 2. We get the C put in there, and we go back and find where the Echo is. It's on the 3 keypad, and we put the E in there. Check it. Back here, forget the $, 4 Charlie Echo. We have 4 Charlie Echo. We got that. We push the menu again, which is going to take us to this TX group talk deal. Don't even worry about that. It just needs to be 00001. Don't change anything in that. It's going to bring us back to our receive frequency. We can check it and make sure that we have it correct, which is 171.550. We push the menu again. It's going to go to the transmit side. We're going to make sure that that's correct. We got it named what we want it to be named, which was our last frequency. We're digital. We're on high power. The squelch is on norm. We have F7 Echo. We check that, F7 Echo for our receive NACA or tone. We go to our transmit NACA or tone, check that, 4 Charlie Echo. We don't change anything in that talk group. Now, again, we need to push escape once, and we need to push enter to save it, or everything we just did is going to be lost. It's saved now. We're going to get out of the programming mode by escape, and now we have our digital frequency in there. We know it's digital because it's got a D up here instead of an N. I'm going to switch back to another frequency. This is an analog frequency and it's narrow, so it's got the N up there. We'll go back to our frequency we put in there. It's a digital frequency because we got a D. We also know it's a digital frequency because of this F7 Echo. On the receive, we can click it over and see what's on our transmit, and we know it's a digital again because of the D and the 4 Charlie Echo. That's the end of the programming frequency for the digital frequencies.